to think of triple amputee.
Easy.
How?
Easy.
How?
All right, you get a bike similar to an Aprilia Mana.
Yes.
Because it's a fully automatic, and whilst I haven't ridden it, one of our guest instructors, Mike the Spike Edwards, racing legend that he is, he's ridden one, and he says it's a really decent automatic bike. Now, the guy has his right arm. What you can do is you can attach a prosthetic to the handlebars for the left arm, and they make these for downhill mountain biking for people with prosthetics for left or right arm. And so that can then, with a little mini shock absorber and piston involved, so he can put his weight through both arms onto the handlebars, even though he's basically steering and inputting with his right, and then there's enough residual part of the leg left to be able to grip the side of the seat. Easy. Easy. I mean, there are guys that ride, and probably girls that ride with just a single arm, and there are some very, very quick riders out there.
Oh, I've seen some racers down at Brands Hatch, or there's one of the guys in their 600 Supersport, I think, who's got one arm. He's constantly mixing it up at the front. Absolutely. Let's take another quick break, and when we come back, we're just going to talk about where you want to take this thing, Talon, and what you need. Let's just, we'll be back after these few words or some music, not quite sure. To think of triple amputee.
Easy.
How?
Easy.
How?
All right, you get
Roger Tewson and my very special guest, Talon Skills Piggins of the Bike Experience here on BikerFM.co.uk. Talon, I'd like to, many thanks for the time you've taken out this evening to spend with us. It's been absolutely fascinating. I mean, you've been working on this thing now since April last year.
Well, I started just a little bit before. That was
fair, yeah, exactly, yes. Where does it go? Where do you want to take this?
Well, we've been really, really lucky in the fact that we've secured a £10,000 lottery grant from Awards for All. So this year we can move ahead and we can really start to develop it as a professional charity so that we can then hopefully attract more funding to take it further. So we want to have a sort of a dedicated centre of excellence would be a start. We would, dearly love to have new bikes to ride rather than, 1998 SV650s, and a couple of 2003 and a 2004 bike. So, we're trying to move in the right direction there. We would love a van. I mean, we've got an old N-regged Renault Traffic which was donated to us, and I mean that was an amazing donation, and I really am extremely thankful for that, because I've got a van, Russ has got a van, but they're little Mercedes Vitos, and they only fit two bikes in, and I'm, all the best will in the world, I'm not very good at loading them. We've got our other instructor, Graham. I mean, he's able. Well, Russell and Graham are able-bodied, and Graham can put 4 bikes in the back of that Renault Traffic now, and we call it the bus, and then you can bring more bikes to the charity now that we're having up to 4 riders at the event. But I mean, people can help mainly by spreading the word, because we want riders who think it's impossible to ride again to realise that they can still ride a bike, and they're only going to find it out by people telling them. So by going on to the Facebook page, which is the Bike Experience, by liking us, by looking at our website, which is all the W's, thebikeexperience.co.uk, but then if they want to get involved, is to sort of get in contact with me through Facebook, to say, yeah, I'd like to come down and volunteer and be part of the launch crew for the day. Or, yeah, we're a group of riders and we're doing some fundraising. Again, that would be fantastic, because, the bikes, whilst Metzler are still helping us, we still need to purchase the tyres at cost price.
They've got, yes.
We still need to.
They're not giving it away,
we still need to purchase fuel, and we would like to grow. As we were saying earlier, we want to teach beginners. So I'm going to need a little 125 or 250 at some point to teach. I want to also develop the bike experience for motocross, because I've had quite a few riders come who are motocross riders.
Sorry, I kind of mentally took an indrawn breath there and thought, now that's a big step up.
That's all right. I've got 500cc Husselberg that I ride on the dirt. You
got to tell me when you're going out.
I'm learning up at Tor Martin, because I've never ridden motocross until I've been paralysed. I want to do some of the big jumps.
Oh.
That's my goal. In fact, I've got a really, I don't know if I should say this, but I've got this sort of inkling to try and compete in the X Games. Right?
No.
I said that I would learn to ski, get into the British team, and go to the Paralympics, and I did that in 7 years. I didn't even know if I could ski at the time, because I was lying in hospital desperately trying not to die. So I made that pledge 8 days after my accident. I don't know if I can actually ride a motocross bike, but the X Games have this adaptive motocross category, and it could be another 7-year challenge for me to have a go at. But I mean, it's one of those things that I'm mulling around in my brain at the moment. I do have my current challenge, which is to gain my ACU race license for short circuits. I've got a race license now for hill climb sprints and twisty sprints, but I want to race against other bikes. That's where the passion is.
I sit here ashamed, I'm afraid, after, as I say, 30 years man and boy on the bikes, and what you've achieved is absolutely astonishing. It's people like you that drive certain aspects of the motorcycle industry along, or just drive people along. And it bugs me a little bit that, motorcycle companies weren't interested in talking to you. So I think it's just so very narrow-minded and very short-sighted. But somebody like yourself who, and I hope I know you can't see my tongue in my face or anything, but appreciate that my tongue is in my cheek when I say, you're not going to sit still, are you? I'm not going to sit down.
No.
I'm going to get up and do this. And you're a lesson to a certain degree. I don't want to gush too much, but you're a lesson to a certain degree for the rest of us who have had maybe little incidences. I've had a big, oh, I was so scared and so on and so forth, getting back on the bike. You've just gone, sod it. I'm going to do this.
I've also been very fortunate to have a great deal of support from friends and family. I mean, initially, friends and family weren't that supportive of me getting back on a bike, because but you're paralysed as a result of a bike accident. Why are you getting back on a bike? But since since my mum and dad have come to see me ride at Castle Combe, since they've come to see me race, and since they've come to see the bike experience and see the positive benefits that it gives to so many people, to the riders' families, and to the volunteers that come, they're really proud of what I've done and of what we as the Bike Experience are doing, and they want it to continue to grow. We've got a lot of interest from riders here in the UK, as well as Europe, as well as the United States.
Am I right in thinking that you may possibly be having an American coming over to this country to ride with you?
We've got a guy from Belgium coming over, a couple of Irish coming over, and there's a possibility that a guy that I know who I've been coaching skiing, he wants to get back on a bike. He's looking to come over and do it because at the moment, and I say at the moment, the Bike Experience concept does not exist in the States. Now, I'm going back over to the States for a month, and I'm hoping to meet with another paralysed motorcyclist who rides at the Miller Raceway, and he's been there for 8 or so years, I think. Mm-hmm. He could take it. Well, what I'm hoping is somebody like me takes it on over in the States and gets it going. I have had sort of contact with Keith Code from the California Superbike School, and he expressed an interest in getting some of his teaching bikes adapted, because within half an hour you can take off the Plictronic gear shifter and the toe clips, and the bike is used by someone who's able-bodied. So it's very easily changed around. But it gives, schools the facility to teach both able-bodied and disabled riders.
And not only that, but it offers the opportunity back to those people who perhaps thought that it had gone forever.
Yeah.
And I think that's what hits me on the emotional side, I think, more than anything else. I couldn't bear to think that I couldn't ever ride a motorcycle again. And I think to take what you've done and create